Good morning. If you would all stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we beseech your divine guidance in this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen. I would also like us to have a moment of silence. We had a long-time elected official in our county, Mike Esper from Brunswick Hills Township, who recently passed away. And if we would just give him a thought, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. We also would like to announce that Commissioner Harrison has an excused absence for today.
Okay. I will move to approve the minutes of March 21st.
I will second. Discussion? Roll?
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Okay. Do we have any public comment regarding resolutions for today? Seeing none, we will move on to resolutions. Annie Conrad, engineer, and we have Dan today. Thank you, Dan.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Let's see what we have. I've got two resolutions for your consideration today. First resolution is approving the annual assessments on improvements for the reserve at Pine Valley subdivision in Hinckley Township. And the second is approving the final plat for the same subdivision, Hinckley Township.
Move to approve the two resolutions.
Second. Discussion? Roll?
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jeremy Cinco, sanitary engineer.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
One resolution for consideration today. The first is authorizing change order number 2 for the Medina County Residential Solid Waste Campus Project.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion? Roll?
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next up, Linda Hoffman, county recorder.
Good morning.
Good morning. In a rare appearance here, I have a resolution for your consideration this morning, and this is to extend by another 5-year time period the resolution governing a $4 document set-aside fee to help fund our technology software.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion? Anything to add?
No, thank you.
All right.
Roll?
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Next up, we have Bethany Detler, Economic Development Executive Director.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have one resolution for your consideration with lots of attachments to approve the minutes and recommendations from the Housing Councils and Tax Incentive Review Councils representing Liverpool Township, Granger Township, Hinckley Township, Montville Township, and Sharon Township.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion?
Just want to thank you for all the work. I know it requires a lot of coordination
Yes.
and bringing people together and a round robin of meetings. So
I used to be on that board. It was very interesting.
Oh, yeah, we learn a lot. I think we met with 18 separate companies this year, and a lot of them are still growing, so it was very positive.
good news. Yeah.
Roll?
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Thank you, Bethany.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Laura Toth from Office for Older Adults.
Morning.
Good morning.
I very happily have one resolution for your consideration. It is approving a services and use agreement between the Medina County Office for Older Adults and the City of Wadsworth. This is for operations of the Suprema Senior Centers Cafe.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion?
So when are you going to be opening?
Well, I don't want to put any hard date on it, but
Are you excited?
hopefully towards the end of April.
Are you
Yeah.
excited
Okay.
about the new
Really
adventure?
excited, absolutely.
Yeah, we need to come down and check it
Yeah.
out.
Oh
when you
yeah,
open
so
it.
you will be
Okay.
more than invited.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you. Roll?
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Holly Muron, Human Resources Director.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On our personal changes resolution today, we have 2 new hires, one in finance and one at Office for Older Adults. We have a transfer between agencies to finance. We have a rate correction in IT. We have 8 rate increases, 3 in sanitary, 3 at Office for Older Adults, 1 at County Home, and 1 in Commissioners. We have 1 suspension in sanitary, 2 resignations, 1 in building and 1 in sanitary, and 1 separation in sanitary.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion. Roll.
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
Very good, thank you.
Next up, for the last time, we have Scott Miller, our county administrator.
Good morning.
morning.
We have 7 resolutions for you today. The first resolution is transferring appropriations. This is transferring between accounts. The second resolution are revenue adjustments of interest income to various funds. Third resolution are expenditure adjustments in various funds and accounts. The fourth resolution is authorize a cash transfer to the Emergency Management Agency. This is in the amount of $80,000. The fifth resolution is a cash transfer to the Soil and Water Conservation District. This is from the general fund in the amount of $71,000 and the RPTT fund in the amount of $79,000. And the sixth resolution is allowing the expenses of various county officials. And the final resolution is authorizing the payment of $1,515,531.38 in invoices.
Move to approve the 7 resolutions.
Second. Discussion. Roll.
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. I also wanted to say, I think most of you in the audience know that from 11 to 1 today, we will be celebrating Scott. So please come say goodbye and well wishes to Scott today
Surprise, Scott.
Yeah.
from 11 to 1.
There will be cake. So I'm just letting you know. Good.
Okay, next we have department updates. Shannon Ryan, Transit Director.
Good morning. Highlighting February, we had some positive results from our MC Flex in Wadsworth. Just to share a little bit of data with you. We saw from miles to revenue, we had an 8% increase from the previous year, from 8% of revenue of miles traveled in Wadsworth on that loop to 33%. So we saw a big jump in the productivity. Scott called it effectiveness. I think that's the right word for that. We also saw a pretty big jump in ridership. We went from 286 the previous year to 425 in the month of February. So it's working. Some of the feedback we've gotten was mixed at first. I think folks are settling in to those folks that are feeling comfortable using the app. We have a bingo day at the Suprema Center that has become something we need to address first thing in the morning, that 9 o'clock trip. We're working on some budgeting things to maybe start that service the next time we go, if we continue, an hour earlier, which will help alleviate some of that. Okay. So that's the response to that. All those folks that want to go play bingo at Suprema Center.
So that's the rush hour, basically, for that.
That's the rush hour. Good
Everybody
word for it, right? The pain point, the rush hour, the opportunity for more ridership. We'll call it all those good things. So we also have 3 new vehicles that were delivered. We actually went and picked them up in Cincinnati. We're putting the final touches on fare boxes. Radios have been put in. The modems have been put in for the communication with the tablets. Camera systems are going in a little slower than I'd like. The fare box is important. We're working with maintenance right now. And the Easy Fare Validator will be next. That's a little tricky too. But we look to have those vehicles in service in the next week or 2, which will alleviate some of our revenue vehicle issues that we're having. I wanted to thank you, Steve, for some of the kind words you said about in your ride with transit. Read it, shared it with our staff. They really appreciated that and saw some very positive words come out of an experience that is fresh eyes, right? So we really like that.
Glad to do it, and like I said, the driver was great, and the passengers, I mean, surprisingly, they were all in their 20s, which is kind of interesting. Most people think only old people use transit. It's like, I was the oldest.
Not at all.
Older than
But you may need a ride to bingo, right?
Yeah. That's all right.
You had some of our clients from Alternative Pass on there that really appreciate those rides all the time. They all do. So.
Oh yeah, it was a great experience.
And then I'd be remiss to not thank Colleen for her support of Jim Kuhn. I couldn't get him here today. He's working. Jim Kuhn was one of our operators. I remember reading the letter, the Acts of Courage Award. A really good night to see a highlight for Jim, but also for our transit in our county. So I was really happy to see that. He's still talking about it.
Well
Folks
deserved.
Yeah, he's a good gentleman that really did the right thing at the right time, right? It's right place, the right time. I also want to, going back to our data a little bit, as we look forward into Medina, we're learning a lot about what works, what doesn't. As good as our technology is, we're finding that folks calling in are able to get more of a customized service than the app until we get into it. Mm-hmm. So we're encouraging them, if you get kind of stuck or you don't see what you're looking for, call in and we'll help. Okay. And our employees are doing, our staff's doing a really good job to make sure everybody gets a ride on the MC Flex in Wadsworth. And crossing our fingers as we move into Medina, we're preparing some communications and some literature to talk about what happens next. That's a bigger area. We've learned a lot, which is what the point of the test was. Mm-hmm. So there we go.
Hate to put you on the spot. Andy Conrad had sent us that communication about the CMAQ. Is that likely that we might be able to qualify? Or since we're going out to a rural system, are we qualified still for it?
We're part of NOACA. There's another NOACA county that's part of our Transit Council, Geauga County. Right. So we're mirroring some of what they're doing. It remains to be seen if we're eligible for that. Yeah. I did check the NOACA website. It did not say anything on the 12th for that.
Okay.
I do have a Transit Council meeting coming up, and they usually share that kind of thing in the Transit Council. I'll know more soon.
Yeah, for the public, it's congestion mitigation and air quality. It's called CMAQ. It's been around for years, used for a lot of like traffic studies, signalization. Greater Cleveland Transit Authority uses to purchase buses, and that's the question, is that round of funding becomes available, whether we could also acquire, since we seem to have we'll be anticipating a higher need, more buses, especially if we end up moving in with Medina, and if we can find a way to pay for some of those.
We've got those 3 that just came in, and we've got another 8 on order, which is later on this fall. So it's really going to bring our fleet up. Our oldest bus will be 2018. And then communicate with NOACA. We plan to buy 4 each year as part of our transportation asset management plan, so we can tap into those resources. Okay. NOACA is a good partner. They always will be, even though if we're rural, to answer your question.
Got it. Good.
Okay.
All right. Great. Thanks.
Thank you, Shannon. Next up, we have Debbie Kiley from Job and Family Services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First, just 5 resolutions for your consideration this morning. The first is providing service of process. This is part of our 4D program for child support with the Sheriff's Department. The next is an agreement providing prosecutors attorney services, also part of our 4D contracts. The next is providing prosecutors extradition and investigative services, part of the 4D contracts. And the next is an agreement providing clerk of court services, also part of our 4D contracts. And lastly, the agreement with domestic relations court, also part of the 4D contract.
All right. Move to approve the 5 resolutions.
Second. Any discussion? Roll.
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Department updates.
Yes.
Public assistance. The division is continuing its efforts in redetermining, say that 5 times fast, Medicaid for the 26,000 Medicaid recipients in Medina County since the public health emergency has ended. As I reported last month, we have about between 1,300 and 1,400 cases to run each month, redetermining eligibility for that population. The state has a batch process. It always has, but they've turned it back on now that the public health emergency is over. And that batch process for the month of May, it runs that early. So those that are due in May, it ran eligibility on those 1,400 or so cases. It only was able to pass through 400. So the balance of those are up to the staff to do. We've received some administrative dollars from the state of Ohio. We're using those funds to authorize overtime for staff. It's going to be a heavy lift, but staff are well prepared. I'm meeting with my administrator, and she feels very confident.
Good.
We continue to authorize our benefits for our SNAP assistance program. The population remains about 9,300 recipients, and our cash assistance under TANF is about 450 recipients. It's a combination of, obviously, parents and children. For Child Protective, the division screened over 180 calls, unfortunately, of abuse and neglect in February. Also in February, we started with 155 children in care. We closed the month with 149. Those that exited care, they went to a permanent placement, either back with their parents or with other relatives or other permanent placements. The balance of children, there's about 65 that are in foster homes. There's about 60 that are in relative placements, a kinship of some kind. And then the balance, about 16, are in a congregate care or residential treatment facility. We actually have 5 children who will emancipate this year, meaning they're going to age out of care, and several of them are going to graduate from high school. So we're working on efforts to celebrate appropriately with them, because graduation from high school is a big thing. And the agency is also working with the state to adopt a financial literacy awareness responsible spending program for those children that are about to emancipate. So it's going to provide a small allowance to children once they reach the age of 14, and then so long as they remain in our care, so long as, and that monthly allowance will reoccur and increase so long as they commit to a financial wellness program. We're still working with the state. There's some local institutions that might do it. I'm going to check with Paul with the United Way and see if he can participate in that too for those kiddos. The funds, of course, will be held in an insured financial institution. I think that's important to say these days. So last for the division is our Rising Up and Moving On awards ceremony. That's April 27th, where we're just simply celebrating the achievements of our youth who are moving out of our care, as well as celebrate those foster families and communities who've supported them, including the board. And for child support, over the last year, I've been meeting with the division for somewhat of a strategic planning. I've coined it as work groups, but we're evaluating their current processes, their systems, as well as the forms that they're using. Right now, they're using Word templates, which is fine, but there's also a far more robust document management system that's in place at the agency currently that they weren't otherwise utilizing. So part of these work groups were rediscovering that system and making them more efficient and better workers, a better workforce, give them another tool. So they have about 100 documents that they currently use, and within the last month, they've moved about 30 of those over to this new document management system. And while that a third-ish doesn't sound super impressive, it's actually a pretty heavy lift. I keep using that word. Because the document management system, you not only have to make sure those documents comply with federal and state law, but you also have to tell the document management system, I want this letter to live in this folder, and then after a certain period of time, do you want me to file it away? Do you want me to move it to a different folder? So there's almost like a Gantt chart that has to happen for these documents. So it was no easy task, and there were some pretty tough conversations that they had to have with me about what needs to be included in those letters. Are we saying too much? Are we not saying enough? And does it comply with federal and state laws? So I'm excited for them. I think they're energized about this movement, so the work continues there. Lastly, today is probably my last day standing at this podium with County Administrator Scott Miller in attendance, and I know he did not want any fanfare or any gifts, so I did not get him anything. But when I told my dog that Scott Miller was retiring, my dog knew that Scott Miller has a dog and would have lots of time for walks and treats and fun. So this is not from me, it's from my dog to your dog.
Very nice, very nice.
And I didn't even use tissue paper, so it's as subdued as possible. That's all I have.
That was very nice.
All right.
Okay. Have a great day, Debbie.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a commissioner's resolution. We have a resolution appointing a member to the Medina County Advisory Council on Aging and Disability, and we are appointing Karen Thompson as the Medina County Township Trustees Association member number 5 representative.
Move to approve.
Second, discussion? Roll?
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Okay, anybody have any public comment? Matt, come on up. And introduce yourself for those who do not know you.
Will do. Good morning. My name is Matt Hiscock. I'm the Director of Public Safety for the City of Wadsworth. I'll use City Hall's address of 120 Maple Street, Wadsworth, Ohio. I just wanted to come today and thank the commissioners for assistance. In particular, I'm talking about a freedom of speech matter that was hosted in the City of Wadsworth on March 11th, which became a much larger event than anticipated. We relied upon the services of the Medina County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Grice, as well as our multi-jurisdictional SWAT team, as well as drone team members and even members from the Medina County EMA to support us in that particular event. And if you would allow me, I would tell you mutual aid in the public safety realm is something very common on the fire and EMS side, if you will, and we see it almost on a daily basis within our county. It is not as often that we see it on the law enforcement side of things, but when you do see it, it is really humbling, and it makes you recognize the hard work and dedication of all of our law enforcement officers within our county. It's really special to realize how many agencies came together for that particular event, and they came together at the result of our request for assistance. Without the financial capabilities and support of this particular commission and the board, I don't know that we would have been able to manage our particular incident the way we did by leveraging the assets of our mutual aid partners. And for that, Mayor Labaugh, myself, the City of Wadsworth, we are eternally grateful for that assistance, and I hope you realize and know that we're available for the county's needs. We're just a phone call away. So just wanted to come and thank you.
Well, Matt, it was very nice that you came in, thank you, but I hope you know that no thanks is necessary. We are so glad to help Wadsworth whenever they need. But also, I have heard from several people in the community that your leadership and your direction and your organization of that day was extraordinarily commendable. So thank you.
Well, so kind. I was a small piece in a much bigger team, and it was really the efforts of the others. It was amazing. I hope that no one has to work in an incident command post like that. But when you see the folks, the chiefs in our county working together, the sheriffs working together, all of the deputies, the members of the teams that remain unnamed at this point, working together, it's really a pretty awesome sight, and something all of us, not only as elected or appointed officials, but as citizens, should rest assured that Medina County is a safe place to do business, to raise families, and to live. I just can't thank you enough.
We appreciate that you came today.
Well, thank you.
And I really want to say I just came for Scott. So congratulations,
okay.
both personally and professionally. It's been a joy to work with you. Good luck to you.
All right, great.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you,
Don't
Matt.
mind, I'm going to exit stage.
Go for it.
Yeah, good, okay.
Okay, discussion. Scott, do you have anything more? I do. Okay. Sure.
So I know it's pretty amazing that half of my career has been at Medina County, the other half at the state, and it's been a real joy. It's been a lot of fun over the last almost 17 years, and I can honestly say the last 8 years we've accomplished a lot.
Yes.
We've upgraded the accounting system. We've upgraded the instituted court management system. We've gone paperless at the building department. We brought cleaning in-house. We brought vehicle maintenance in-house. We've gotten a levy passed for social services. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on.
You built the courthouse?
And we built the courthouse. Yeah, that's probably the crowning achievement. But there's a lot of other achievements that have been accomplished over the years. And really, I want to thank the directors. I mean, these guys work so hard, and they really care. And without them, really nothing could have been done. I mean, I know. I'll just pick on Steve. He's here at 6 o'clock in the morning and leaves at 4:30, 5 o'clock every night. You've got Denise. She's here and she's collaborating with the highway engineer and doing some amazing things with Dan Becker with the capital grants. I know we did the project down in Chippewa Lake, and the next project is going to be in Lodi. Jeremy stepped in for Amy. He does an amazing job, and he's a lot of fun to work with. You've got Holly. She does an amazing job helping all the elected officials with personnel. You've got Shannon starting new programs. I think this program with the curbside is going to be amazing. You've got Laura stepping out, actually running a cafe. It's just a lot of really neat things are happening in Medina County. And, I've gotten to work with a lot of really neat people. I got to work with Sheriff Miller, Mike Kovac. Obviously, the current elected officials, Forrest Thompson, Linda Hoffman, Terry Grice, Lisa Duranick. We're doing some amazing things there with the ARPA funds, with the clinic. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really challenging. I also want to thank this board and past commissioners. I mean, Pat Geisman, an amazing lady, Adam Frederick, Tim Smith, obviously Bill Hudson, who's now a judge. I really appreciate his guidance over the last 8 years. Aaron, I think, is going to do a phenomenal job. I'm really excited for the county with him. Colleen, we've had a lot of fun. I know we razz on each other a lot, yes, but it's been a lot of fun. And Steve, over the last 2 years, I was 8 years as county finance director, or 9 years almost, and then the last 8. Learned a lot from you. Thank you. And also Rhonda. I got to mention this. Rhonda's been my right hand. She's been amazing. I appreciate her advice. She kept me out of trouble on more than one occasion. Sometimes she hasn't been able to prevent that, but that's okay. But I really appreciate the work that she's done and her friendship. So thank you for that. And also the employees in Medina County. They are amazing. I don't think people realize, government has a bad rap sometimes, but we've got some people in our organization that, they work so hard, and they care about what they do, and they care about the residents of Medina County. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been an amazing journey, and I am looking forward to the next opportunities that I have. And Pippin is going to be very thankful. I will let Pippin know that Debbie's dog gave him a gift. So you can thank your dog for me. I appreciate that. And I do want to mention Debbie too. I think I mentioned everybody but Debbie in here, and Debbie's done some amazing things. She stepped into that role, and she's really done an amazing job with Job and Family Services. I know there's a couple directors that aren't here, but they've all done a nice job. So just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
We want you to go off and enjoy every minute. Enjoy. Okay, anybody else? Jeremy? Debbie? Denise? Bethany? Anybody have anything else? Okay, I will enter. Oh, do you have anything?
Nope.
I will entertain a motion.
Okay, move we go into executive session to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee.
Second. Roll.
Hambley?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.